Hi everyone and welcome to this next video in the series of tutorials for the CAD/NX practical course. And because today we have a lot to do, let's not waste any time and start immediately with looking at this technical drawing. I have to say that this part is something that you should definitely do at this point when you are here, because it teaches you a lot to not get overwhelmed by technical drawings that contain a lot of information and by parts that are harder to do. But try this without this video first, because that's kind of the idea of the whole thing. And if you fail at some point, you can maybe go through this video. If not, this might be a very long video, and I'm not sure if you can learn too much from it, because there's nothing new. It's just a connection of many old things here. Okay, so we see we're building kind of a staircase with a walkway and this handrail. Is that the right word? I'm not sure, but you know what I mean, I guess. And we have a lot of views, which we might first need to think about what they are. This one is pretty obvious. Here we see a cut, which cuts through here. It's a section BB. We are looking in this direction, and therefore this rail right here, so we're cutting here, is cut open, and also we are cutting exactly through the bottom of this. Then we have that one, which is just looking from this side, and then we see, it's from the other side. Actually, we're looking from the back, and in the background we see these stairs. And how did I know that we are looking from the back? Well, simply because the handrail is on the left side, so we have to look from here. Then that is obvious. It's the top view. Here you can see the stair, for example. Here the handrail, which goes out 2 times, and that's the end right here. And then we have this, which is the bottom view, where we can also see how the stair looks from below and how this thing looks from below. And I haven't modeled this myself in 3 years or something, so you will now watch me maybe struggle at some points too, just because I don't have in my mind how to do it. But yeah, maybe you can still learn something from how I think about stuff. And now, to be honest with you, I don't have a good idea of how to start, but I would like to start by introducing something that will make all the other steps easier. And I think one thing that is fitting this idea is this bottom part right here. And we can see this bottom part in this sketch, luckily, how it's shaped. And then later we can worry about that it's cut out here and that we have a cutout down here. So I want to just do this sketch first and then extrude it for not 25, but we have to find another place where we can see how far it would be that we need to extrude. Here it is, 25 plus 5 plus 6 probably. So let's do that first. And I'm here still, something else is open, so let's start a new part. Okay. And we have that, and maybe I just realized maybe we might need to also have a look at this detail C right here, which is here, but let's see first what we can do without it. So what would be the best place for the start of the coordinate system? Since this part is very intense, I think it won't make too much sense. There are not many symmetries or stuff. So I would say, because we are starting with this sketch, why not just take this bottom thing right here for our coordinate system, and then we need the height right here. Where can we find that? It might be the 10 down here, if that carries through, but I'm not too sure. Let's see if we can find something else. Okay, we have 8 here. It's probably that. So let's do the 8. Only 8. And on this line, of course, let's go further in. Okay, now the rest I will first eyeball and then later add the correct measurements. You just have to pay attention that it's not automatically introducing any constraints here. So there it did some constraints. I mean, the one constraint that we could have, is like that. Parallelity. And now I'm basically doing this, which looks weird first, but I just did that, so that an X doesn't do any automatic constraints, what it always wants to do. Okay, doesn't work other way around. Well, but that's no problem, because we can do that now. For example, make this right here horizontal. 8 is that. Now we can say 10 down here. This should be 10. It already was pretty close. We have a 55-degree angle between this line right here and the bottom, and therefore also for this line, of course, because it's parallel. So let's just use a reference line just for the fun of it, so that you get reminded how to do reference line. Just drawing a simple normal line and then converting it to reference. And now we can say that this should be 55. Let's see if they are already parallel. I don't know. Let's make them parallel. And let's also give this a length so that it's so that it will be defined later. It doesn't matter what the length is, we're just giving it one so that it's not missing this dimension. And I also want to decrease the text size a little bit here, because it's annoying me that it's so big. Okay. What else is there? The 5 is not for this. The 40, that's interesting. That's between here and our reference line. We have that. What else do we need? At this point, it's not the 5. That's what I meant. That's the different the distance to where this will start. That's for later. Here I see nothing. We have 220. That's something that we still need, and the arrow is going to the outermost point here. So let me grab that point, please. Yeah, got it. And then basically until here. 220. Okay, and now it turned black. So we got our first sketch complete. It's defined. It's completely defined. And now I want to extrude this starting from 0 and going, what did we say, 25 plus 5 is 30 plus 6 is 36. Okay. Now, yeah, let's put it like this. That's now that. What could we do next? Maybe we can do this cutout down here. So for that, I just want to sketch on top of our bottom side right here, and we're using our original coordinate system again. And you can see right here it's going down, so that there will be the stairs later on, so that we have exactly the same view as here right now. And then we only need to draw a rectangle. Come on, yeah, there it is. Eyeballing it, and then if we want, let me see if we can use the lines from behind. For that we can look for this feature named project curve that you can search here, and then you will see you can find that under the more gallery, project curve. And here we can usually, okay, but yeah, of course we can, yeah, we can take it, nice. Okay, and like this you can take lines from the background and then use them. So let's take this line, we don't need that one, that's the axis anyways, and we have the bottom axis too, maybe we will need that one, and click on OK. And now convert them to a reference immediately, because you don't want these to use these lines, at least not in this case. So right here, we know that this should be 10. We know that this should be 25. We know that up here it should be 6. Yeah, and that's already good. Nice. And down here it should be 5, which then should also be good already. But let's fix it. Now I guess we still need the length of this cutout. Where can we find that? Okay. Right now I don't actually know. Sorry. So yeah, we don't have the measurement here, definitely, as far as I can see at least. I'm not sure, we can't see it here, I guess. And I also might be that. Probably here in detail C, we see this line, this dashed line, and I think that might be, you see in the background, where the thing is cut out. So I'm rather positive that that should be it, and that means it also makes sense because that's 10. But we have to pay attention now, because you see I rotated it a little bit now, and the 10 is the distance to up here, to back here basically, not to this line. This line would be in here, okay? So I have to delete that again. Undo, never mind, we can keep it. But we also have to take this curve into our sketch. There we have it. Let's also make it a reference line. I'm clicking F8 so that it's centered again, our view. And now we can do the difference of 10 millimeters here. That was a tricky one, admittedly. You can, I think it's easy to confuse this and use the line in here and not up there. But like this, we have it defined as we need. And here we see that this cut basically goes through the whole thing. Do we have evidence somewhere else for this, just to demonstrate? Yeah, here you can see it too. Remember, here we're cutting at exactly this plane, and here you see also that the cut is going through, and on top we have this little plate, which we can maybe do next. So, but for now, let's extrude that. In the other direction, the distance isn't important for now, but let's just keep it. Let's just keep it. What was the height right here? 8. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it at 8. Why not? So that's the first part. And now, just because I just said it, we might next do this little thing up here. We just have to find out. Maybe we can see that at the detail C. Okay, it's stopping exactly at the end on top here. And also, let me see. And it seems to also stop exactly on the other side. So we can simply sketch again here. Oh, sorry. I want to let me do it again. I want to sketch on this. I'm not sure if so I want to sketch on the top plane. I can just not grab it. Yeah, let's do like this. Doesn't really matter where the coordinate system is, because now we can again use this project curve feature and just select these. Okay. At least these 3, because you see here it would take the whole, but we only need it until here. Not sure why, because here it didn't, but whatever. Let's take these 3 and just connect them with the fourth line. And now we have the sketch, and we can extrude that for 1 millimeter. And here we have okay, I typed just comma 1 millimeter, and now we have that, and can look what else we can do next. Maybe we can do the stairs now, and we have to pay attention now on which side they are. If we turn it like this, like we see it here, then we have to do the stairs on this side. So my idea would be to create the stairs, either to make an extrude from here and then sketch on this plane and then extrude back as long as we need with the shape that we need. Or we could also make a sketch on this plane and then extrude back where we need. It depends what of those approaches we should use on where we can see how the cutout should look like. And I see we have some information here. At least we see that it should be 5 wide, so that should be 5 wide. And then it's 20. Well, the rest we can make up, basically. The only interesting thing is what I see right here. And if we see that, so then probably let's do it from this side. So let's start a sketch. And yeah, we need to do it here. Let's start a sketch and maybe select this face right here. And yeah, we can leave the coordinate system where it is, I guess. It shouldn't be that important. Let's see. So we need this line. So let's again take project curve, and it wants right now if I select it, it wants to select the whole sketch. And if I go up here and select single curve, then I hope, yeah, it only selects one. So I'm not sure at which point this video will be uploaded and if I already got into that. But up here you always have this selection filter, and that tells you, or here you can adjust every time that you have to select something in such a window, how much you should select via each click. For example, it was on infer curves before, and if I now click on or hover over the sketch, then it would infer all of the lines from the sketch. Up here, it only would take this one curve, so that's kind of the intelligent version, but for us it's too intelligent because we don't want the whole sketch, we just want this line. And then the easy one, what the name already tells us, is single curve. And here we can just take this one line that we might need as a reference line to make this 90-degree angle. And I'm also taking this line just that we have a reference of the height right here. And why not this one? I mean, as long as we're doing them as reference lines, they are not hurting anyone, right? So reference line, and reference line. It's a little hard to see, even for me, and I guess in the video even harder, but here are now the dashed blue lines, our reference lines that we have projected. And now let's see how we can do this cutout. And I mean, in general, we could just do something like this and then extrude it and, extrude it in that direction and cut. But we have this, so let me undo it. We have this one little speciality, which is this chamfer right here. So it's a little bit more tricky, but let's just go over, and I'm doing this line very longer than it should be, because we can later trim. And then I'm selecting another line, it's important where you click. It should be constrained to this line, but not to the middle, okay? So somewhere on the line, but not in the middle. And then it should be somewhere on this line, but not in the middle, but the middle is down here anyway, so we don't run into that danger. And nice would be if we could already create the perpendicularity constraint, but it doesn't look like, so let's just click somewhere. And by now we can trim, or let's not do that yet, but we clicked somewhere, and now we also want to do the 90-degree angle here. And now we can trim this and this, and just, yeah, we could now exactly follow those or just do something like this. It's just important that we have the whole part inside. Like this. And now we can use extrude in the other direction, and we need to leave 5 in the end, we have learned. And how is our current width? It was 36, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's see how 31 looks. I guess that looks good. And you can see how the rest around here doesn't matter, obviously. But here we have this little detail. And if I click on OK, we select that. And I just realized that I haven't looked if everything here is defined, and it's not. In that case, it's not too important, I think, but let's still do it for the sake of demonstration, so that the sketch is fully defined. And I think the easiest way of doing this would be to just follow the lines we had before. So go to the sketch origin, go over here, and go back up here. Okay, and I see now these two lines are not defined, so let's see. Okay, we can still move it up and down, so it's good that I checked, because we still need one more measurement, and that's the 8 from up here to here. So no problem. Let's grab this point of the line, and let's grab this point and make it an 8. And like that, we edit this sketch. What are you asking of me? A sketch has been edited and one or more dependent sections may require mapping. Mapping may reduce the impact on downstream features that use those sections or features. Do you want to review? No, we don't want to review. We understand that we changed our downstream feature, which is the extrude, but that's exactly what we wanted. And you can see how I didn't have to change the extrude feature now, but it automatically did that because I changed the underlying sketch. Okay, and now it looks like it should. That's nice. And we can maybe next tackle, for example, this stairs step. And where can we see how it looks? We can see that's the actual step right here. And if I remember correctly, on this part, we can also see that it's connected at 2 points. Is that right? Is there some different somewhere else where we can see? We can see there's a little thing below which holds it in place. We have some measurements here. Yeah, we see that's the 8. So yeah, so that's a bit more tricky right now. We know it's 25 wide. Can we see something in here? Not really. Can just see this line, but I'm not 100% sure what it means. I mean, yes, that should be the little part that's holding it in place. I'm just wondering what this. I can't really decipher that part right now. Maybe that is just chamfered? No, it's not. So I don't know why why it looks that there are 2 of those. Yeah, I'm not sure what the English word for this, but I guess you know these 2 things. Because here it doesn't look like there would be 2, but simply just 1 block that is holding that in place. And also nowhere else it's visible. Also here we can only see 1 because the other one would be behind, but I also don't know where it should be, because yeah, I don't know. So in that case, the drawing might be faulty up here, I'm not sure, or I'm just understanding something terribly wrong. Maybe I'm just a little dumb right now. But in that case, I would just do as I think right now, which would be in a distance of 20. We change our sketch right here where we extrude, so that we leave something in here. Or actually, you know what? Let's do another sketch, where we are sketching on that again. Or this time it's a little bit behind. And now we are again projecting these two curves so that we have references, converting them to reference, don't forget that. And then we draw two lines connecting them somewhere. Just make sure that you're not hitting the middle point or something. Let's make one of those horizontal and the other one too, and connect them so that we have a full shape. Hope it worked. And give them 20 millimeters from the bottom to here. And then it's 8 between the two. Right? Looks a little weird right now, but it says... No, it says 4. Okay, that's the thing. It says 4. And 20 is to the bottom one, just so that I don't confuse it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's 4. And 8 is up here. Okay. So let's extrude that. And it's not the full length, but we had that somewhere here, 25. It's 25 millimeters broad. Yeah. And it's starting from the right point. That's important here, so that the 25 is not starting out here. Could have also been 25. Okay. Yeah, so that's the thing where the step should lie on top. If I read it correctly, maybe I'm wrong. Take that in mind. Bear that in mind. And now I want to sketch on the same plane as before. This time we can take this line right here as a reference line, because now we want to model what we can see here, the top of the stair. And here we just need a rectangle basically. Let's just eyeball it first, like this. Make sure that this line is on our reference line behind, but it looks like it would be. Now it's hard to get to use the reference line, but I think it is. I can't move it up and down. Okay, I can, but then I'm breaking the sketch, so should be fine. We will also see soon, after we have given all the dimensions, if something else is still needed. So 1 here, 21.5 here. Oh, I misspelled it. So 21.5. And then we have 5.9 from here to... now that's a little bit harder, because I think we can't select... No, we can't select that. So in that case, we can try to also take this line, because we have to create a point here somehow, and then create a point there. Exactly what we want. So let's see if I grab the point, if I can move it. No, I can't. So it's locked in that point where it should be. And now we should be able to make this 5.9. Yeah. And now don't forget, this should be a reference line. Okay, and now everything is black, so that worked. Finishing it, extruding it, and seems also to be 25. I mean, here we can see, although it is probably faulty, that we have indeed the same length for those two. So that would be the stair step now. Let's look at it from some sides. From the top, I would say it looks, if I center it, it looks exactly like here. That's good. I mean, we are still missing the handrail, but other than that, it looks the same. From the side, it looks like this, definitely, I would say. And from here also looks very similar. The only thing is from the bottom. And here, let me see. F8, come on. It won't let me center. My F8 key is not working anymore, apparently. So then let's just try to move it by hand. And let me see. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's not wrong. It's just very confusing. So what you see is what looks like it would be two rails down there is just this little part here, and then the second, then that is is that, and then this what looks to be a second rail is just the difference in height, because this is skewed between this and this line, which from the top looks like this. So yeah, you see, I didn't understand it, the drawing, but I just started doing it as all the other drawings suggested, and then in the end now we have clearance that we did it right. That's maybe something to learn from this. So it's looking pretty good, and I think the only thing we are still missing is the handrail. So let's do that, and for that we obviously want to use the sweep along guide function. So we need a guideline and the outer, or a cut, and we can see the radius is 15. No, that's from the guideline. Is it 5? No, that's all measurements of the guideline. I want to see if we can somewhere see the shape, basically, of this rail, but I can't yet. It's also very small, of course, for me, and for you even smaller probably. Isn't there a measurement of this, of the radius of that somewhere? Come on. Is it 5? Is it that? No, I think that should just be, but since it's exactly, no, there we see it from the back, right? Where is it? Here we can see that's what we have to use soon. That it's starting. So let's actually get into a sketch, because we want to do the beginning of our rail down here. We could also do it up here. So maybe let's not start with the sketch if we're looking for it so long, with our cut, with the actual shape, but let's start with the guideline, because the guideline we can see here in this image pretty obviously. So let's turn it that it's the same. F8 still not working sadly, but not too bad, because we can sketch, and we need to sketch, for example, on this plane, because where exactly the guideline lies is not important. It's only important where your cross-section later lies. So the cross-section has to be exactly here. The guideline can be somewhere else, because it's just directions starting from your cross-section. So we can just draw the guideline here. It just has to be in the right plane, of course. So it should look the same as here. And now I'm starting my guideline. Or you know what? So you could do it like I did. on this axis, on this plane, but I want to use another feature again, the datum plane, where we can create a new plane, and I want to have now a plane which is exactly cutting this here in half, so that we can draw our guideline exactly where it should be. Assuming that it is exactly in the middle, but I think it should be from how it looks, and I also think it should be exactly 5 from how that looks, but we will see later if we can still find that out. So we want to do now a new plane which exactly cuts this in half, means we can take this and then create a new plane at a distance of 2.5, because it's 5 broad, if you remember. And now let's see how that looks. Yeah, as you can see, it's cutting in half. Click on OK. And now we can sketch on this plane, which is a bit cooler, I would say, right? So let's take that and click on OK. Oh, okay, undo. That was not good, because now it's the coordinate system was a little messed up. We want to have it like this, preferably, so that we can exactly do it like we see it here. That would be the easiest way. So again, we can now sketch, use the new plane, but you see right now the coordinate system is here, and we want to specify our origin point to be maybe in our original origin, and then we also want to change how is that? Okay, we need the existing point, and then where can we where can I define the axis? That's weird. Okay, so then it might be a problem with our plane right here, so let's delete that, create a new one, and this time let's not choose this face, because that kind of messed it up. We will choose this plane right here and do the same, because that will be the same in the end, but now our plane is easier to use, because it was created based on our original coordinate system plane, and therefore it will have an orientation which is much more convenient to use. And from here we can start with our guideline, and first thing we see is we start at let's take the profile function. We start at 69 and exactly on the same coordinate as this ends. So on our vertical axis at xc0, yc 69, 0. And now we need a line that goes for 180, because that's what it says here. Then we need an radius, an arc, with a radius of 5. We don't know the sweep angle, so I'm winging it somehow. Now we want to go down a bit. From now on, we're not putting in any dimensions anymore. We're just guessing. Well, we can do the 5, but the sweep angle is not inputted. And then we go down approximately to where we need to be. So that's that. And now we have to see how we can fix the rest. For example, we know that it should be exactly in the middle of this line. So let's use the project curve function that we need so much here. Project this curve. And now, of course, make it a reference. Don't forget that. Now we take the midpoint of this line, select it, and we take this line and we use coincident. And now we can hopefully trim this little part right here. So that's that. And now this is a mess, to be honest, but I guess the 58.4 should say that here the arc starts, okay? So this line simply should be 58.4. No, I think I had to, I used a comma instead of a point, like this. And here, how do I know this? I don't. I just thought that that's the most probable thing, and that's something that you can do too if you're not sure where the fuck, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear here, but where the hell is this ending? And in that case, it would make no sense if it would be to the midpoint of the arc or something. So best guess is at this point that it should be the beginning of the arc. Okay, so we have that. Then do we have something else right here? We have the 180 and the 69 in. I would heavily expect that this line right here should be parallel to this line right here, because otherwise it would be unaesthetic. And also, it makes a lot of sense that it should be like this, but I can't see proof for that anywhere right now. But I think that might be something that we have to just assume. First of all, before we make assumptions, let's try if we don't have to make them, if we make everything right here tangent. If it's not already, I think it should already be in most cases. I'm not sure if here though. And also here tangent. Okay. Still brown. Let's see what's movable. I think probably, okay, we can move that. We can move that up and down. Okay, so apparently we don't need to give this an angle here or something, but we simply don't have, because we could move it up and down, the 69 fixed yet. Although I inputted it first, it seemed to not want to fix it. But now that it's fixed, this line is fixed, but these are still movable, and it just looked like there wouldn't be a tangent, but it's there, I guess. So what? Okay. Yeah, okay. Looks like we need the angle anyways. So and in that case, I would just assume that it's parallel, because I can't find something else right now. Maybe if you have a little more time, you can continue looking for if there's something that might help you. But in this case, I think we are pretty safe to assume that these two should be parallel, because now everything is black and it says sketch is fully defined. So let's click on finish, and now we have our guideline, and we still only need our sketch where it should begin, and that we know is 5 from here, so basically where we started here. But we also need to find out let me see. there is pretty little information, I have to say, about that. Okay, here we have the radius of the, that's nice. So it should be 5 on the outside and 4 on the inside. We don't care about the inside now. We could do that, but I want to just do it solid first and afterwards use the shell to make it hollow. Yeah, and one thing that I'm missing is, we know that it's, if I turn it like this, man, it's annoying that my F8 key is not working. So if I turn it like this, we know that it should start with a distance of 5 from this in here. And it looks like this line wouldn't go exactly there. Let me have a quick look back into our sketch. No, that's not right. I thought that's what I thought. It should be, the middle point should be constrained to this point. And now now it turned brown again. Why is that? Let's see, can we move this? Yeah, okay, it doesn't seem to work to constrain it to the midpoint. So we are apparently only constraining it to be on this line, but not to be in the middle of the line. So let's also give, make it like this, 5. Now it's in the middle. So what I wanted to say before is, we know that it's 5 right here, but we don't really know where in this dimension it should start. But I would say let's just do it exactly on the end of this line, which we have sketched now. Yes, sorry, we know it because we know that, at least I think we have kind of also assumed that it should be exactly in the middle right here. So the end point of this line should be exactly where we need to sketch. So let's sketch and use, let's sketch. Just choose this down here. And then we can take our guideline in here and project it. We only need that last part because we want the last point. And that we have to do as a reference. And on this last point, we can do our circle with a diameter of 5. Okay, so now we can use the sweep along guide function that you should already know. And we have to search for that. It asks us to select a section curve. We already have that. And now it asks us to select a guideline. And we can just select this one and then click on OK. So here we have our rail, and I think it looks good. We just need to make it hollow. So let's use the shell feature up here and click on here, and the thickness, I think that's the wall thickness, should be 0.5 because the inner diameter should be 4 and the outer 5. Therefore, the thickness of the wall is 0.5. Okay, so that's the first. And now we need to basically rinse and repeat the process and do these two right here. And for those, I would say we start this time with our with this sketch, with the cut section, which we can do on, let's learn from our mistakes, not select this right here. Okay, looks like if I select the face of the extrude, let's just select our, sorry, meant to do that. Delete that sketch again. We select again our coordinate axis right here because it will make it easier for us. Okay, and then let me turn it and have a look at where. Okay, it says the first one is in a distance of 8 to the end. So let's do a circle in here somewhere with a diameter of 5, I guess it should also be. And let's do another one somewhere else. And now we say from the middle point to this line it should be 8, and then it should be exactly in the middle, I guess. If we have a look at it here, it looks like it would be. And can we have an actual number for that, or should we just, we're just taking half of the 8 that this is high, I would say. So from the middle point to down here it should then be 4. Okay, and the same for this. Take the middle point, 4 down here, and starting from the middle point to the other middle point, actually, it should be 95. Hello? Yeah, like this. 95. And you can see that here because it's that the arrow is pointing to both of these lines. Okay. So the two radii are fixed. Oh, and I did an important mistake. You can't, if you later want to use the sweep along guide function, you can't have two separate circles or two separate sketches in one if you want to sweep that. That will lead to an error. So we have to do that in a separate sketch. But maybe I will leave it like that just to show you how the error looks, because that's something that a lot of people run into. And we just will create 2 more sketches to show you how it should actually look then. But it's easy for us to do these 2 sketches because here we can just take this one, finish, and in the other sketch we can simply take the other circle and project them, and then we don't need to construct them anymore. We just have to keep in mind that sketch 20 now is the one with both that I will use to demonstrate how the error looks, and 21 and 22 are the ones that we actually need to use. Okay, so last but not least, probably last modeling step is now doing the guideline for these 2, and here it comes into play what I explained earlier. You don't need to draw 2 guidelines now because it's not important where the guideline is. It just has to point the right directions, which then are applied to your sketch. Starting from your sketch, it will go in that direction. So I can just choose this plane, for example, because of course you need to be in the right plane, and then start drawing this profile. We're now doing it. Let's just turn it around so that it's so that we don't have to do it mirrored like this. And now we have a distance of 4, but it starts from the middle in here, and then ends 4 out. So that's important that you don't miss this. 4. Then we have an arc with a radius of 5. Don't know the sweep angle, so I'm just eyeballing again. I think we don't know the length here, so let's eyeball that again. Maybe like this. Then we have a radius of 15. Let's first do it roughly and then later adjust. And now we need to go back here. Okay. So I think it would be good to include or to project this curve here. And maybe we can go back to infer so that we have the whole thing. Okay. And make that a reference line. Okay. It still took those separately, so we have to make sure that we make everything a reference, but I think they should all be. And now we can take the endpoint and make the distance to endpoint right here a 0, because it has to end exactly at the middle of our other rail, that's for sure. Then this right here should be 5 only. Okay, doesn't let me right now because it probably has assumed some things that we don't want. We know that the start point should have a distance of 4. That's right, it should be exactly in the middle. Here we need a radius of 15. Let me see if it lets me do that. No. So let's relax. Let's first try to relax relations only. 15 also doesn't work, so let's relax both dimensions and relations. 15. Okay, that's better. Here we need 5, please. Nice. And the sketch is now fully defined with the measurements that are given. That was the easier one, definitely, I would say. You just have to relax relations and dimensions if it says that, but then that works. Now we have the guideline here, and now we can use sweep along guide again. And now it's selected the guideline as a section. That's wrong. We don't want that. We actually want and now I'm showing you how it doesn't work. As our section, we can select our sketch 20, which is the one that contains both of the circles. And if I now select the guideline right here, it says gaps in string or multiple loops. And in that case, it's multiple loops, which means, we have 2 separate sketches right here in one. 2 loops, so to say. The same error could be there if you have a gap. So if there's a little, if it's not closed, if you have no loop, basically, okay? So, that's how not to do it. But we also have our 2 separate ones, and with those it should work. So we select only our 21 as a section, and we select this right here as the curve. And now you can see looks pretty good. Okay. And also the same. Again, sweep along guide. This time with 22 as a section and our usual guideline. And that's what I meant. You see, the guideline is here. but it still starts from the section, follows the directions of the guideline, but like this, we have that. And now we only need to shell them so that they are empty from within. So select face here. Are they even shelled? Yeah, probably yes, right? So I have to select the face here, but I can't easily get to the face. I mean, like this it would be possible, but for the other one it would be harder. So we can make this not visible, I think. Yeah, the sweep before I have made invisible just by disabling this little eye beneath it. It's not gone, it's just not visible. So I select this face, click on OK, and then I do the same here, and then make it visible again. And now you see, yeah, it's kind of done. You can't really see though, although it looks like this would look like this, because they are in here. But if you would want to fix that still and make it a little more beautiful, we could create a sketch on here. Just do a circle with a radius of 4 and then extrude that in the other direction, subtract. Here you need to select the two bodies that you want to subtract of. It doesn't let me. Okay, so that's the idea, but I think you first would have to unite. We haven't done that yet, so let's see. Let's unite that with that. Unite this with that, and unite this with that. Usually with functions like extrude and revolve, you will automatically have the unite, but with sweep along guides and swept functions and something like that, you will have to unite manually. And now let's see if we can still extrude that. We want to subtract, please, and then at this point we don't need to give a measurement, but we can just drag it that it's long enough. Click on OK, and now you see we have subtracted also that in there, what we didn't want. And now it looks even nicer than here, because I'm not sure if here is this line, and that might mean that it's not even intended that you do that, but it's just an additional step that would make it even cooler, I guess, if it's not obvious how it looks. So that's how the part should look in the end, I think. As you see, I actually didn't want to do a video on this, but I think for the project curve function it's interesting to see. But it took 1 hour now, so yeah, congrats on you if you sat through that, and even more congrats, of course, if you managed to do it without the video. I think it's not the hardest part, but definitely the biggest one in this course, which has the most steps needed, as you can see here. Yeah, but that's how you do it. That's how I would do it.